the powerful to task. Now, a Target 8 investigation.
High voltage underground cables lying on the surface for months. They begged a giant power company to bury them and got nowhere. Then they contacted Target 8. The standoff between Duke Energy and a small mobile home park dragged on and on.
Yeah, the impasse was sparked by a dispute over who owned the high voltage lines. Duke claimed that it didn't own them and refused to bury these lines, at least pay for it. But with the lines posing a hazard, homeowners contacted Target 8 senior investigator Steve Andrews because Steve is relentless, if nothing else.
I don't know about that, but if Duke didn't change its stance, these homeowners faced a very big bill to bury these electric cables. Now, if the power company didn't do something, it faced enormous liability if someone somehow was electrocuted. 2 weeks ago, a scene like this would have shocked people living in Sunny Acres Mobile Home Park. In a jolting turn of events, Duke Energy dispatched crews to bury high-voltage lines it placed and left on the ground months ago.
I wasn't expecting it.
Especially after Duke insisted it did not own an underground cable feeding power to the park. The cable shorted out in September. To keep the lights on, Duke provided this temporary fix. It left one cable in a conduit above ground, another twisted and turned along a sidewalk, creating a hazard for Francis Dorsey.
I can't even go out my back door without tripping over an electric wire. And they tell me to make sure nobody hits that with anything sharp.
Duke refused to pay to bury it, claiming it did not own the cable. One amped-up Francis contacted Target 8. Duke then explained Sunny Acres owns electrical equipment at its mobile home park, including underground wires providing power to the mobile homes. We found electrical experts who disputed Duke's claim, and we discovered other mobile home parks where Duke is also squabbling about power line ownership. This week, Duke energized the park board when it said it wanted to resolve this problem. 48 hours later,
Duke Energy sent a marvelous crew out here to do it. They were very professional.
the lines that posed a hazard to residents and a huge liability for Duke are now where they belong, underground.
My hat's off to Duke Energy for doing the right thing the right way. It never would have happened had it not been for Channel 8 coming out and taking on our problem for us, and we appreciate it wholeheartedly and want to thank you so very much for that.
Duke provided me a statement that said it believes replacing a portion of the underground service line and the temporary line it installed at the park is a satisfactory solution to ensure safe and reliable electric service. And I have to agree with them on that, because leaving those things out there was just asking for trouble.
Right.
I'll say it again, you are relentless, and it worked out for these folks here, but you also mentioned there are other parks where the cables are exposed, and Duke is disputing this as well, but they did this one. Does it sort of open the door that you do this, you're going to have to do them all for Duke?
One you do them all. That's a good question, because I think that's the feeling that everybody had, but Duke tells me it considers each situation on a case-by-case basis. So we got another mobile home park that's kind of curious about things too. We'll be talking about it a little bit later.
Thank you, Steve.
Sure.
Thank you. And if you have a problem, you want Steve to investigate, you need someone relentless, call our Target 8 helpline at 1-800-338-0808.